Alrighty, I want to make a video, update my winter projects, kind of show you what I've been doing. I guess one of the biggest things is I started out with that seat on the left. That was in the car last year out of Mitsubishi. I think it was Eclipse. I bought it from the junkyard for like 30 bucks, a pair of them. So I was going to put some bomber seats in there to give me a little bit more leg room. But I decided, I'd tear these down and see what I could do with them first. So yeah, they ended up working out pretty good. I tore them all the way down to the bare frame. I ended up blopping the top of it off, putting a bar across there. Ended up drilling just a bunch of holes in it for looks. Put a couple dimple die holes in it on the side and on the other side. Bought some fabric and upholstered them myself. This side here, I just took a little wrench, that's my released, so I could tilt it back. And it did, it gave me a lot more leg room in there. I didn't adjust the height at all, because I didn't need to. But now I'm able to recline it and give my legs a little bit more room to stretch out. One of the other big things I've been doing is got the bed sitting there. Ended up taking the whole back of the truck apart. Ended up taking out all this stuff. I ended up cutting it all out, mainly because of the shocks. I didn't have rear shocks before, so I wanted to mount it there. So I had to relocate everything. So when I decided to do that, I wanted to get everything lower anyways, to have my bed of my truck actually be a little bit of a bed. So I remounted the tank, air compressor, ran all the new lines, actually lowered the battery box a few inches. You see I got the gas tank out. And the reason I'm doing that is what I did with this is, or what I'm doing with this is I cut out, you see I cut out, it's basically split the whole tank. I cut about 3 inches out, which took that tank from a little over a 20-gallon tank, and it's probably about a 13 and a half, 14, if my math's right. So that should get me 100 miles, 130 miles if I'm cruising, so plenty. I mean, it's plenty enough to make it to a car show and back, or a car show, if I got to fill up on the way back, that's fine. Now, the other thing I did is I put front shocks on it. I never had them, and you hit a bump, you can really see these front tires bouncing around. I wanted to put them behind the headlights, kind of hide them, but I just couldn't get the angle. The angle was going to be all off, and I was kind of afraid it was going to bind or put it to such an angle that it wasn't really going to do what they're supposed to do. I still got them at pretty good angle, but I should be fine. The other thing I'm switching over to is I'm putting a electric water pump on it. It's a Pro Comp water pump. The reason I'm doing that is that, from what I've read, it just keeps the engine, you get a constant flow, whether I'm going slow or fast. And going on the highway, I'm not really worried about cooling, going slow, because I'm not running a shroud. I just got the fan on there. That way, help it cool a little bit better. I relocated my alternator. I still haven't done the belt yet, but put the alternator down real low, kind of so it's going to be a real short belt, kind of out of the way. Kind of keeps the engine a little bit cleaner looking. It actually, with the water pump on there, I just stuck it on there for looks, and it gives it kind of a odd look. Looks like you're missing some parts, but I like it. It should be pretty good. So yeah, my next step is I'm going to lower it back on the ground. I did notice I changed out this rear end. I got a Ford 8.8 in it. It originally had a 47 Dodge, and the pumpkin of the 47 was actually smaller. So this 8.8 actually was bumping on these cross members. So I'm going to lower it down on the ground, and I'm going to put it's probably just a 1/2-inch spacer on the bottom of the frame. That way the frame will hit the ground before it bounces off of that, just to protect it a little bit. Interior wise, I'm really not going to do too much. I still need to do a headliner, but we'll see if I get to that. I still got a good month and a half before it gets warm out. So I got some time. So I'm hoping to get this seat tore down tonight, and by the weekend have it reupholstered and ready to go back in the car. And I'm hoping in 2 weeks the car is a flat black. It's a Rust-Oleum. I used a Rust-Oleum flat black, which it's worked great. It's holding up good. But the only thing is it does have like a little bit of a blotchy look to it. So I might spray it a matte clear, just real flat looking. I haven't decided yet. I mean, I'm getting some spots here where you can see that the original red's rubbing through, which is kind of cool looking. I've contemplated, patinaing the whole thing and sanding it down, let a lot of the red show through. I still haven't decided yet. But yeah, the other thing I've been messing around with is I need some new brake pads. And the guy that I bought the vehicle off originally, it had the frame and axles on it. And he said it was 47. I assumed he meant 47 front and back axles. As it turns out, these front brakes are actually Fords, which is a good thing. Parts are a lot easier to get a hold of. So I'm probably going to do some shoes, but I am looking at the disc conversion. So it looks like my things I found on the internet, looks like Speedway makes a pretty cheap kit. But as I looked at it, it's just F-150 disc with some Chevy GM calipers and a bracket, and I could make the bracket. So I might be doing that myself, making another run to the junkyard. All right, guys. Well, hopefully another week or so, I'll post another video and hopefully have the seats in, have it back down on the ground, hopefully firing it up. I'd like to take it for a quick test drive. My speedometer's off a little bit, so I might readjust the speedometer by readjusting the numbers and kind of make my own rat rod numbers in there, something cool. All right, guys. Thanks. Any questions, comments, suggestions? Let me know.